Hello, traveler. Well, the other day we talked about the importance of the house spirit. And I mentioned to you then the next spirit we needed to talk about is the spirit of place, or your land spirit, the genius loci. Today I'm just going to give you some easy tips on how you can ally with the genius loci to get your house, to get the land around your house, to keep you protected, to work with your house spirit. Now, the first thing, of course, you need to do is to keep your yard well maintained. You need to make sure everything's really nice and upkept. Because once again, this lets the genius loci know it's important to you. It's also important while you're upkeeping the outside that you talk to your genius loci. Just like you talk to all of your spirits, just in the same way you would talk to your friends. And this lets the genius loci know who you are and begin to build up a rapport with you. The other thing that is important for you to do is to, after you've cleaned your yard up and you made sure everything is well maintained, is to talk to your genius loci about protecting the borders. Explain to it how important it is the borders are kept protected. And even before you do that, it would be a good idea to pick a corner of your yard or just a little patch of your yard to dedicate solely to your genius loci. And what that does is it just sort of gives the spirit its own special place. It's a place for it to get away, for it to remove itself when it wants to remove itself from your company, from everybody's company. So just think of it as like another person that needs its alone time every now and then. And when you've done that, when you're at that point, that's when you're beginning to build up a rapport, again, with your genius loci. So talk to him, keep your yard well maintained, give him his own private space. Do this for approximately 3 months if you've never done it before you begin to ask him to help you protect your border. Because once again, as you start out, consider it like having a relationship with a person. If you're just beginning, then the genius loci is more of an acquaintance. And he or she, it really, has seen what you're doing around the place, already knows who you are, and has already begun to come up with sort of an opinion upon you. So hopefully you've always been good in your own yard. If there's a chance that you've had arguments in your yard or destructive things have happened in your yard, such as having a tree removed or something like that, these kind of things can upset the land. So in that case, make sure that there's a cleansing and perhaps a small offering to the genius loci to help it understand a gift of some sort. And when I talk about a gift, it doesn't have to be anything great. It has to be something that's a bit important to you, that, like you're giving a friend a gift, something that's special. So, you might give it a marble, you might give it some seed, you might give it even like a piece of jewelry, but something that's special to you, something that your hands have been on, along with an apology for putting it in pain if something's had to be removed or torn out, because the spirit of the land feels things just as a human does. So that's basically it tonight, short and simple. These are the ways you begin to ally. Later on in other videos, I can explain to you the kinds of things that you can ask and the kinds of things you can do with the various spirits. But as I pointed out in the other videos, it's really unfair if you've not built up a relationship to expect the spirits to come to your side and to do the things that you ask it to do. Also, it's very important that especially your spirit, the house spirit, and the genius loci are very important, because this is the beginning of your power base. And when you summon or work with other spirits or ask them into your vicinity, these are the bits and pieces that have got to protect you, that have got to stand behind you to keep you strong. So if you don't have a strong spirit allied within yourself, or you don't have one in your house, or you don't have one in your yard, if none of these spirits will come to your aid, or just one of them, sometimes if you summon another powerful spirit, you might need all of them together working with you. So take the time to build up this power base. Take the time to make your house and your yard really nice. And let the spirits know that you're serious, that they mean something. Now, you don't do all of this stuff just to get the spirit's aid. But it's kind of, I think I mentioned it in one of my prior videos to this series, it's a gift to gift type thing. When you're taking care of the spirits around you, then they want to take care of you. And you have this nice reciprocal going on. And it's not, as I mentioned before, I think also, it's not like in the medieval days where you command and you demand and you try to force the spirits into play. The spirits around you are quite willing to help. It just all depends on what you're willing to give. And if you're willing, there's sometimes that you might even have to sacrifice some things that you really like in order to get a spirit's attention so that they'll help you out. But working with spirits is not a dark mystical thing. Any of the spirits, whether it's an angel, a daemon, and everything in between. There's no light art or dark art of it. You're working with creative and destructive forces, and there's reasons to work with both. We can talk about that later as well. And that's pretty much it. That sums it up tonight. Once again, if you want to ally with and you want to get your genius loci in your corner, so to speak, keep it well maintained. Talk to it. That's the key thing with every spirit, is talk to it. If you feel silly talking out loud to it and you're afraid somebody's going to walk up while you're doing it, do it in your head. You know, the power of your brain is amazing, and it can directly communicate with the spirits. You don't have to walk around doing this out loud. And they will respond back. Sometimes it's in a feeling, sometimes it's in something that happens, or sometimes you can actually hear the audible words in your head. At other times, you just get this feeling that the land's happy. It'll just be a sensation. So yeah, give it its special place, keep it well maintained, and talk to it. It's really quite simple. And I know some people are thinking maybe I'm pitching something that's too easy, but what I'm sharing with you is really the roots of magic. It's not in all these rituals and in these dark, repetitive things. It's in your everyday living. Everyday living generates your ability to communicate and ally with all the different spirits. And as you ally with each sort of spirit, starting with the three that I've gone over with you, your spirit, the house spirit, and the genius loci, the land spirit, then you begin to work outwards even further. In fact, just to give you a little thought pattern on it, while you're taking care of your yard, while you're making your yard, the genius loci of your place, happy, then you're beginning to, because you're working with a bit of nature, then you're beginning to send sort of a signal out to other nature spirits. And then other nature spirits are going to be interested in coming in and looking in to see what you've got going. So you might get something like some of the Fae, being just some of the nature spirits. And so in a way, you're even, by strengthening your base and getting to know your genius loci, you're beginning to build a connection with other spirits further out there. So this whole thing, like I said, life is about making alliances with spirits so that you can evolve and they can evolve and such. But what you really got going from the very beginning, if you do it right, is is a networking system. So you start small and you slowly extend with the various kinds of spirits. And as you work with each different one, then it attracts the attentions of others, and others become interested, and then you have the potential of working with them, and so on and so on, and it kind of keeps going. I do want to mention also to remember, just like when you work with your house spirit, that with your genius loci, that he's the head of your area, your space, your yard, your patio, whatever you've got outside. But then every, say, piece of furniture or every potted plant, every bush, every tree, every rock, whatever you have outside of in your yard or garden area, also has its own spirit. And so to further grow, then you would get to know those spirits as well. So talk to the rocks and to your trees and to the bushes and all these things. Also, when you're talking to them, if you want a good relationship with them, always be positive. And the best way that you can start out with is just be thankful to them. You know, you thank your potted plant for being there and making your yard look beautiful with its green. Same thing with your tree. And you can thank the tree for the fact that it gives out good breathable air. And later on, as you get to know them and they get to know you, these things will also be protectors. So it's kind of neat, because as you evolve and your relationship with the spirits evolve, then you also help the spirits to evolve and change in different ways. And so that's the way energy works. That's the way magic works. And so I'm giving you the basic foundations of having a very magical and exciting life. Again, if everything starts with the spirit inside of you, and you can work with I would not suggest that you work with a lot of outside spirits until you got yourself kind of balanced and sorted. You can, if you're thankful, work with your house spirits and your genius loci, and those will generally help you to become more happier. As you get thankful and happy about working with them, then they kind of help increase your spirit. But other than that, other spirits that you work with in the different times and all can have a drain on you. And you don't want to have that kind of drain until you have your power base developed and you're able to know that you can recuperate afterwards and go back to where you were. So again, I would highly suggest, if you're new and working with spirits and you're getting ready to evolve and all, don't go too fast. Don't try to see what all different spirits are out there and make contact with all the different ones. Start with yourself, work with your house, and work with your genius loci. And in working with yourself, you've really got to face all those things that are stopping you from being happy, those things that are blocking you. Sometimes the things that block you don't make you necessarily unhappy. Sometimes they make you procrastinate. Or sometimes they're just things that cause obstacles in your way. So, if you find that there's some obstacles in your life, or you're not happy, or you don't feel that you're where you should be at the time, then really it's very important to work on your spirit first. Once again, if you visit my site at paul-thurman.com, I do various kinds of therapies and path workings and things like that. And the way I approach things are all from a very spiritual level, because that's why I'm teaching this series, is to let you see how the spirits ally and work and how it's important to do that. So on my side, like I said, there's path workings, there's therapies, there's past life regression. All these things that can help you find the missing parts of you, the missing parts of your spirit that sometimes get misplaced during traumatic moments. They just kind of leave you and go away and they don't return. And there's lots of ways of describing that effect, holes in your heart, um, things stored inside. Um, but, sometimes it just comes down to semantics. But anyway, what you're trying to do is get all the bits of your spirit together so that you can be a happy spirit and grow and evolve, and then ally with other spirits that will then help you grow and evolve more, and you'll help them grow and evolve, and so on the process goes. And it's the evolution of you, it's the evolution of the spirits, and really it's the evolution of the universe and the evolution of magic. And that's all I have to share with you tonight. Work with your genius loci. Work with your house spirit. Most importantly, start with yourself. From my heart to yours, it's been a pleasure talking to you, and I'll talk to you again soon. Goodbye for now, traveler.